Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I have Matua Pina from Tsunami Southern Tribes, New Zealand, coming by, and we're gonna share a steak lunch with a couple of sides. I hope you enjoy. Hey guys, so today I have Matua Pina with me. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day.
Look at this.
Yeah. So we got tomahawk steak, medium, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Salted brown butter, duck fat, Hasselback potatoes, roasted mushrooms, roasted garlic, charred onions, and a little balsamic coast lettuce salad.
You're trying to keep me here,
Yeah. Thank you very much, man. Now I dig in, and then we get into it. So, the guys who don't know you, you're pretty much number 2 in this whole Tsunami Jiu Jitsu, isn't it? More or less.
Well, number 1 for the South Pacific. Matua John is Tsunami.
Yep.
And because there's a crew in America, and then we approached him and he took Southern Tribes on.
Yeah.
I'll be nice to use a fork, I'm not using my hands. I was gonna go railroad styles.
Yeah.
Just use hands.
No, but,
Yeah, so we already had the tribe established.
Ah, okay.
So Southern Tribes is because we're the southernmost tribes people in the world.
Yeah.
So pretty much Māori kaupapa, and it's all about whānau.
Yeah.
And then we approached Matua John. Well, he approached me through and a friend because we had just left another crew.
Yeah.
And we brought him down to see if we get on, because our way is kanohi ki te kanohi, which means face to face like this. And we liked him and he liked us.
Oh, cool.
And it's gone from there. So
yeah,
if we're technical, I'm number 1 in Southern Tribes.
Yeah. And
he's number 1 in Tsunami.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It kind of.
No, good to clear it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a couple questions I ask everybody who's on. Like what martial arts do you do and how long have you been doing it for?
I did Goju karate when I was a kid. My dad did Wing Chun Kung Fu. My grandfather was Golden Gloves boxer, so I've done Morako when I was a kid, which is Māori weaponry.
Okay.
But if you're a Māori boy, you've been fighting since fighting coming out of the womb, bro. That's the truth. I was fighting in there. Let me out. I want some of their tomahawks, like nah. So it's quite natural for us to fight. As far as BJJ goes, I think I was introduced to that in the mid to late 90s, just after UFC.
Oh, just after UFC, then, yeah. Like most people, eh? Oh, that's for you.
And but it wasn't there. It wasn't in New Zealand.
It was.
I think Nandolfa, who was a Hickson black belt.
Yeah.
His wife might have been a diplomat, so he was there, and Carl Weber and those guys were training with him, but he'd only been there a short time.
Okay.
But that was the first time I heard of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so I tried to find it, and we didn't have YouTube. We only had dial-up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
3 days for 5 minutes. For something that takes 5 minutes.
Somebody gets a phone call, and the video stops loading.
And it was actually that bad. When people, my kids don't believe me, I'm like,
and that's all VCR back in the day. That's where you get your.
I've still got them.
Oh man.
And people would bring them from America. They were books, so they were beta, right? They were beta, and then you had to go VHS, so it would come out black and white, and you were trying to figure out. Here's the funniest story. So I saw Graces in action. That's how I got involved with it. And I was like, this is cool, man. And it was such a bad video that when I finally bought the DVDs, like 12 years later, that's Hickson. you couldn't actually tell what it was like. So I practiced on my kids. Then I would try across the belt choke. And my son's 4 and I go, is it tighter over the top or underneath? And he's like, because there was no one to teach us, so.
Oh yeah. Because that was what, 90.
That was like
probably
about 98, around the year. And then maybe 2000, A guy turned up to where I'm from was only a little small place, and he was from Perth. He was ex-SAS and he trained with Heavy Hest. But his wife was from home, so he put an ad up at the school, and I went along. I was like, finally got some jiu-jitsu. It was all no gi.
Oh yeah.
Because no one had a gi. And he used to beat the crap out of me and Carl, because I was like 110 he was 120, and Grant was only like 63 kilos.
Yeah.
And he had to swarm the big boys because we'd get gassed after like 10 seconds. But he was real technical. Then I ended up moving to Perth. Oh yeah. And that's when I kind of got exposed to it. So I was at Redbacks with Grayson and stuff. But
So we came to Australia first, then went to NZ.
And then I went back. Yeah, then I went back so while I was here, I think there was like Jason Gotch was purple. There's one other purple. I was here when Hoist first came.
Okay.
Trust me, I bought everything he had. Went out to dinner with them. There's some stories that I can never tell people, but
yeah,
that was like the beginning of the journey. And then met Marcelo from his injury from Gracie Barra, and then we ended up coming under Gracie Barra, and then I moved home and set up Gracie Barra at home under him, and that's been the journey right up till after I went black.
Okay.
But MMA, so we did MMA. Well, for me, Jiu Jitsu was MMA.
Okay. Oh yeah, back in the day it was like.
Because
yeah. You did Jiu Jitsu to get into MMA or to help you MMA.
Well, in the Valley Tudo, so Carl Weber was like the Valley Tudo champion, and that's what I wanted. I was like, yeah, this is the stuff. And everyone else was just doing kind of stand up. So I've been training properly for like 23 years, maybe full time. So yeah, that's kind of it. Otherwise, it's just been doing what Māoris do: get in fights at the pub, play rugby league, fights on the field, and we all work the door. So there's a few scraps on the door.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, Jiu-Jitsu probably saved people because I just choked them instead of punching them.
No, that's one big thing that people ask me. Oh, why do you pick like grappling instead of like striking, man?
Yeah.
In a real situation, there's repercussions after, man.
Yeah.
Still got to consider that.
Well, I know people that have been punched in the head and hit the concrete and died.
Exactly, yeah.
And next minute you might not have meant to murder someone, but you've murdered someone. Whereas we put them to sleep. So when I went back and set the team up, a lot of us worked the door. So we choked people when we needed to. Yeah. And the next week they would just come and go, man, I'm sorry. You know, but at least, because in the old days you'd have a fight, and they'd come back 2 weeks later and you have another fight, and it would just go round and round, and and then somebody gets hurt, right? Yeah. You choke them out and they'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, bro, I didn't mean to be silly, and everything was good. So that's like the biggest benefit to Jiu-Jitsu, I think. Yeah. And sometimes they don't need to be hit. No. Sometimes you just need to like control, subdue somebody, and go, hey, come on, calm down. And
exactly, yeah.
It's alright, mum, put that wine back. She's not gonna see the same. Because she'll wait till I go to sleep, and then she'll hit me with that. No, I always make that joke and something. When I teach self-defense, okay, the beauty of Jiu-Jitsu is I've got different levels of response. If I only know how to punch or kick, that's the only response I can do. But sometimes it's just somebody that needs to be calmed down, not. And then I usually throw in there about my mum having too much wine, and everybody can relate. You can't choke your mum. That's when you do foot jiu-jitsu and I run out the door as fast as I can.
I know. So, what made you start martial arts initially, and then what made you stay for like 23 years? Is it?
It's just always been in my blood. Like war is part of our culture, you know. Like, and I descend from some pretty deadly warriors. Like there's some crazy stories. And then my grandfather was in World War I at 14. Went back to World War II at 40. Then his son, my uncle, was in the battalion. Then he was General MacArthur's bodyguard, SAS. So war's gone in our veins. And I played rugby league. So I think for a lot of us, we played football was our way of being able to still have war. Because we're confronting other people and you're trying to outdo the other guy. Yeah. And in that team, environment, but I think it's like if I knew jiu-jitsu when I was playing football, it really could have helped me.
Yeah.
But a lot of those boys transitioned over to jiu-jitsu and they already know how to pin you or how to roll you over and stuff like that. So it kind of, they cross over. But I wanted to be, I think when I saw BJJ and I watched the Gracie thing, you know, the whole thing with UFC, I was like, yeah, man, that's exactly how it is, because I don't actually have to hurt somebody to win.
Yeah.
Which appealed, because I can't say that I like hurting people. You know, but it happens. That's how it happened. But yeah,
most people who do it for so long don't. You know?
Well, it becomes your life. Well, nowadays you see it before it comes. So I'm already putting barriers in way on, moving people out of the way, so that the conflict's already dying down. But you know, I'm always wondering in the old days, because there were some huge wars, some huge war parties, is that those old chiefs learned to negotiate it away. You know.
Yeah. For you, how has martial arts changed like over the years from when you like first started and then seeing it now?
Like I love all martial arts. That's the funny bit. Like a lot of guys go, jiu-jitsu is everything.
Yeah.
But I when I did karate, I actually enjoyed the meditation and
that's a big.
You know, that whole that kind of Zen thing, how it is. But it's very like you never ever question your instructor.
No.
Not that you shouldn't these days, because there's a lot of people that shouldn't probably be instructing, but that regimentalness kind of appealed. So I've kind of watched more people integrating in, if you're honest, like MMA. It's kind of turned into its own martial art in its own.
It is, yeah.
And I mean, I come from the early days of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu when there wasn't really a curriculum.
No.
You just rolled and then one day they're like, maybe you should put on a purple belt, you know? But I see a lot more hobbyists now, and people and it's more of a lifestyle, and you can have the old, you know, like, especially where I've got to now, like at 53, I have to start thinking about still being able to move when I'm 70.
Yeah.
So it means that I don't even put myself with the 25-year-old whipped soldier who's coming, because I'm going to end up hurt, and then I can't work on my farm or, you know, whatever. So I think the biggest change, is the numbers.
Okay.
And the people, like there wasn't a lot of people doing jiu-jitsu back in the day. And because we were pretty raw, man, people were getting hurt rolling. Yeah. Because we knew no better. Yeah. And it was just like the fun of, you know, wrestling is really primal, eh?
Yeah.
And it kind of, sometimes it's so primal that you enjoy it too much and you don't actually know that you're hurting someone. Or there's something about pinning somebody and getting squashed. You know, I think it's like when you grow up with a big brother, little brother, and you squash your little brother and you're like, and that kind of comes out. But it's the shift is turning. I see more, even most martial arts, I see it more as a lifestyle now. And you're still getting Mick Dojo stuff, and it doesn't matter which martial art, because I know, you know, I've seen that people go, oh, we got the best gym and the rest of it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But if people are training, then whatever they choose, whether it's taekwondo or karate or jiu-jitsu or whatever, in my head, they're kind of making better people, and that's really what matters. Like, this world needs lots of better people, because there can be an ugly place. So whatever martial arts you do. So I think there's a lot more exposure for different martial arts, because MMA really is mixing it up, right? If you want it to be a career, which it can be now, then you've got to specialise in a lot more things than just the one. You can't just be a striker and go out there and be lucky and knock people out. Like if you don't know how to wrestle, or we already know you can't just be good at jiu-jitsu, because you're still going to get out wrestled and submitted. But it's most of the martial artists I know are good people, you know, always giving back.
Yeah. And that's a big thing for the way I teach as well. Like it's more about the, you know, how can this benefit your well-being? You know? I always say well-being, like when I'm teaching, like I don't talk about medals, I don't talk about wins and losses, you know. It's much deeper.
It's holistic too.
And it's not all about medals. Medals are so materialistic. Like you win the medal, 15 minutes later you go back to life like normal. You know, what's that long-term benefit? There's no really. So I tell my guys, I tell the kids especially, like, you know, don't worry about the wins and losses. Like there's much deeper benefits to competing.
Well, they're challenging themselves just getting out there on that mat, aren't they? Like that's a win for me because those things you have to.
Oh, just to be there.
So for us as Māori, we talk about hauora and te whare tapa whā, the 4 pillars, which is mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being. And for me, Jiu-Jitsu ticks every one of those boxes.
Exactly.
So I've been using it to help ADHD bulls. And man, that flipped it on its head. And the kids have gone home, some of the boys have gone home with their mum after the first class and going, I can feel my brain talking to my body. So it's had such an effect that they want me to get another year's worth of data. And then we'll sort the program out, try to get it to more kids because we've turned these kids around in like 4 hours. Because the environment's still the same, but it's been crazy to see. Because I've done Jiu-Jitsu for so long, I know it's such a good tool to make better people. You know, if you're in a dark spot, it's a good place to come because if somebody chokes you, you're gonna forget about your dark spot. Trust me. You had a tough day at work, bro. Come here, I'll use you for my choke dummy. Oh, did he have a bad day? No, I have a bad day now. He's got a bad day.
Doesn't get worse.
But you better tap. If you don't tap, we're taking photos. But yeah, so that's that whole tribe kind of thing where it doesn't matter how bad your day was, if you made the effort to come to the gym for an hour, you're gonna forget about your bad day. And I'm a biggie about making sure that your family at home isn't missing out. Like don't turn Jiu-Jitsu into a negative. So when I grew up, rugby league was the game, right? You're a man, you played rugby league, but that means it's a rugby. The rugby boys probably gonna hate this, and it's changed a bit. But the culture of that sport isn't good for families, right? Because womanizing, alcohol, putting people on pedestals, like and I won't say names, but it's quite common in that sport. And they're not necessarily good role models for the community. And so a lot of us came from that background or had fathers that were in there. So it's come the weekend, we would see it because they play the game, they go to the pub, they're out partying and come back. Like, do you want that for your kids? So I say to the boys, don't turn Jiu-Jitsu into that. Like, come to Jiu-Jitsu for your hour. That's your social gathering. Go home. I said, how about this? Why don't you go home and teach your wife some Jiu-Jitsu? Self-defense. Like, there's so many aspects to Jiu-Jitsu. It's not just about rolling, competing, and fighting. Like you said, it's not about that. How about you teach self-defense to your wife or your daughters? And I had, when my daughters were coming up for their teens, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? And I couldn't force them to come to Jiu-Jitsu. So I started teaching them just a little bit of self-defense at home, and I'd randomly grab them, and they'd I'd push them against the wall and they'd get out, and they never ever got into trouble, thank God, going out when they did, because they had enough confidence that they could deal with the situation. And that was such a biggie for me. But that's probably the difference between Jiu-Jitsu and most martial arts, is that I've got all these different ways of coping, using it to cope and using it to fill our whole order. Like if I'm having a bad day, I can reattach my mentality, shift it by going to Jiu-Jitsu. I get physically better if I keep going. I get emotionally better because I'm bonding with these people. Like, you can't get any closer than grappling.
No.
And that's what I tell people. And if me and you aren't getting on, it's not cool. But if we're like yesterday, I was trying to teach people to flow. So if I flow with you, we start sharing energy, and it both just blows the place up. And everybody's smiling and happy. If we're striking, the whole goal is for me to try to get there and hit you, so I just keep running away. So we're not interacting at the intimate level of grappling.
No, it's like striking is there is that flow. But you only have it at the highest level. You don't really have it at the lower level. In Jiu-Jitsu, blue belts can flow. But in striking, like, you have to be 2 world champions.
It's a long time coming in. Well, because naturally, if somebody's swinging at you to hit you, that means they're trying to hit you.
Exactly.
Right, whereas babies are cuddled by their mums. What's the first thing you do when a baby cries? You pick it up. So they're attaching themselves, they're connected to you. So for me, that's exactly what Jiu Jitsu does, and fills that void.
Yeah.
This is good, bro. Oh my goodness, you sure you want to come to my house?
No, so this is a couple. It's not fine dining, but it was bits and pieces from when I used to work at fine dining.
This is fine dining for me, bro. It's not mashed potato. Mashed potato and cabbage.
I'm glad you like it. Hey?
Oh, my missus says either. Cook your own food. Cook your own eggs, man. Oh, sorry, Tom. Nah, she cooks me good meals. I'm pretty easy. It's like, mashed potatoes is all good. I'll go there.
Okay. Is that or nothing? Then?
Yeah. See you that or toast or baked beans. Or noodles. 2 minute noodles. I think you run that strange jiu-jitsu with 2 minute noodles something.
No. Yeah, there's not much. There's not much money in it. Hey, like
No.
even if the money, even if the numbers going up now, it's hard to make a good, like, heavy living off of it.
I don't think you could go into jiu-jitsu thinking that you're going to come out rich.
Yeah.
Because then
Yeah.
your reason for being there is wrong.
Yeah.
I teach jiu-jitsu because I want to change lives. I have to pay bills, you know.
Oh yeah, everybody is big.
And I live week to week, and this is what I do full time. But I'm by no means driving around in a flash car or have lots of money to spare.
Yeah. I think like us doing it full time, and even we struggle to get a big flash lifestyle. I think anybody who's also, large majority, not anybody, but large majority of people who just does it for fun.
Yeah.
Even they struggle to keep up with the bills with it. You know.
Yeah.
Gis, rash guards, training sessions, seminars. And instructional videos, especially nowadays, instructional videos is a big thing.
You know, I don't watch any. I don't watch any instructional.
Oh, you don't? You don't?
No.
Oh no, back.
In the day, I did.
I think old ones you probably would have made.
It depends, because sometimes I sit there and I'm just like, man, like this guy's so monotone. Or it's easy to get distracted from. So for yesterday's flow, right?
Yeah.
I just gave the simple version, and every one of those places you could add a millivariate, and you know this because that's how your brain works.
Yeah.
Oh man, we can go vaporize or whatever.
Yeah.
And I like that, and I want people to find the ones that work for them.
Yeah.
But when I'd watch some of the instructions, I go, I know that doesn't work.
Yeah.
You're just throwing it in there to fill in the tape. But people were buying the tapes, absolutely believing that this is gonna work. You know, like I had friends that spent money on tapes, and I'd watch and I go, just do this. So it put me off. Usually it's the person's voice, or the dude doing the voiceover.
It was like a Brazilian one.
Oh, well, do you know when Marcelo Garcia couldn't speak English?
Yeah, I saw that one.
The arm drags? Like 40 different ways to do arm drags?
Yeah.
But the guy who had the voiceover, the worst voice ever. I was like, oh my god. And I turned the sound off and just tried to figure it out by watching it. After about the 10th arm drag, I go, hey, I got this.
How do you feel that the general public, like people who don't know much about martial arts, how do they see martial arts in NZ and Australia?
Well, it's a bit different back home because in 2007, 2008, I decided that Jiu-Jitsu needed to be everywhere and I needed to get it amongst the people. So me and my sons would hop in the car and we drove 1,000 k's a week, sleeping on couches, get enough money to put petrol in the car to drive to the next place to share some more Jiu-Jitsu. Now there's not a soul in New Zealand that doesn't know what Jiu-Jitsu is.
Okay, that's good.
So the public's pretty, and I'm from a little town, so 20 years of Jiu-Jitsu, everybody knows me, work the doors. So if you say Jiu-Jitsu, the first person they talk to is about me. So that maybe is, I think that's how I ended up getting in with helping the kids on the spectrum, because there's like 7 schools in that community. So the school my daughter went to, they just happened to mention it to the principals, they're like, and I think they just thought they're going to bring the kids to 6 classes and, you know, like keep them busy. She said, I know the perfect man, so here it is, and that's just because I've been in the community so long. As soon as you say martial arts or everyone thinks Jiu Jitsu, and then usually they give me a call.
Yeah.
So I think back at home it's favourable, and most people do it, and maybe that's why there's a lot more hobbyists, because everyone's, you know, like once upon a time only hardcore come and trained, you know, and really the environment probably was hardcore. Like now my beginners don't roll. I roll specific because you know when you know nothing and somebody's strangling you, or just even sitting on top and you can't breathe, and it takes a special person to come back. So the environment's not welcoming. So we changed a lot of the way we do stuff.
So somebody new.
Yeah. So they come to begin. I have a white belt curriculum that we run through 8-week cycle, and there's a bit of self-defense in there, and it's pretty simple. And more specific roles, so it might be one person on mount, and you have to try to escape. And you'll swap over.
I do that.
And then once they start getting out, so maybe 3 months later, getting used to specific, then I might let them have just a normal role, but I might put them with one of my people belts, who's just going to play, you know. But in the day you walked in, it's like, ooh, this guy, we're going to give this guy a hiding. And we were dropping legs on faces, you know, because everyone was raw. But I think I probably lost way more people that way. I retained probably about, maybe 1 in 10. Now my retention's probably about 8 in 10.
Oh, that's much better, yeah.
But the environment's changed because, you know, it's like more family, easy going. I've seen when new people come in, I put my blue belts with them. They know the stuff that they've got to go through. For starters, it's not normal for a lot of people to hug. It's normal in my culture. And in my family, me and my son still kiss. Like that was part of being growing up Tahitian and the rest of it. So, but you know, if you get people in, a stranger comes up to give you a hug, it's like, hey, hold up. So having to lie on the ground with somebody squashing you is not like, I'll put my hand up for that one, you know. But we've changed the environment in there where people feel comfortable, and we'll start with stand up, and we might be the wrist grabs, you know, the self defense stuff. And then they start getting comfortable, and then we introduce the ground. And they go, look, worst case scenario, you end up on your back. It's actually safer than being anywhere else. And then we'll maybe teach them how to do a hip pump sweep or whatever. And they start getting, and what we're doing was tricking them into getting used to having people in their space. And then they go, like don't drop them in the deep end of the pool, like let them wait around here for a little bit. And then if I get ladies, I go, and now you go home and you try mataleo on your son. And I bet he's never going to say anything again. Then they come back and go, it works. I'm like, oh, there you go.
So like if you were to have a conversation like with somebody who doesn't know about, I mean, because like you said, they know of MMA or know of Jiu Jitsu. What are their views on it? Do they think it's a good thing, or?
I think, you know, in the old days, and we had this, people thought cage fighters were monsters. The concept of fighting in a cage was like, that's like gladiatorial, they're like barbaric. When I explained to them that the skill that you have to be in there, and you're a full-time athlete, you know, like you're actually putting time aside and you've got to train for this much and you've got to make that much weight. And when you come along, there's a lot of skill involved. And I think our behaviour helped as well, because we weren't brutish. Like I've got my guys training the kids, so I'm lucky. There's 3 generations. My granddaughter, there's a photo of me, my son, and my granddaughter at her first comp. 3 generations of the same family on the mat. But when she was a baby and first came down the gym, I was like the proudest granddad, proudest cook, and I'm holding my baby while class is on, and I'm like, look at this. Now I know how the Gracies feel. You know, it's passed down. And she's just a little kid. And I remember her watching. So she's a toddler. Would have been. She's only crawling. But the mat was. She was sitting on the mat and she watched her dad roll. And her eyes are big and she wants to go over there and cuddle him while he's rolling, right? And that's how I kind of explained it in that. It's not about being better than anybody else. It's about us being better. And so I have a lot of families that train. So husbands and wives and kids. And a lot of the time it starts with the kids coming and loving Jiu Jitsu so much and mum's there, and they start getting used to what's going on in class. They're like, why don't you come? You know, and then mum starts coming, and then dad starts coming, and you got mum, dad, and the kids all training.
Yep.
So I don't think I think they see martial arts, or back home anyway, Jiu Jitsu as just as a lifestyle now.
Yeah. No, that's good.
And we've been around so long, and you know, after 20 years, if you know me, I'm an idiot. But I've helped so many people in the community. I've always helped people, and I like sponsor kids. You know, you get those kids that are hard up, or they're in foster homes. Then I'll bring them down. I'll sponsor this kid's training, get them a gi or whatever, just to try to give them a break.
Yeah.
To get in there. So, you know, maybe our local community is a little bit different than you know, as everyone else. But there's a lot of small towns in New Zealand, and it's exactly the same thing, because they know that those boys that own those gyms were all boys that were hard done by growing up. Yeah. They've turned into better people, and they give back, and the kids are behaving at school. You know, our whole bully-proof program is like that with the kids at school. So we'll end up having kids come to train with us because they're getting bullied, and then they're not getting bullied anymore at school, and then they're encouraging more kids to come. I tell them to bring the bully.
Yeah.
And then I whisper to them, just tell me it's a bully, and we'll do chokes tonight, and I'm going to choke that kid. And they're good.
Can I borrow you for a demo?
Come here, what's your name? Do you know how to tap? You're going to learn. But you see the kids light up because somebody cares, you know, and then the mums will come up and go, that was so cool that you tune it. And I try to always find a positive in whatever. So if they've had a bad day at school, I'm like, maybe it was raining, or maybe they didn't eat too late, or maybe it's the end of the week, you know. So like, instead of going, oh, you kids have been idiots, I'm like, man, kids are influenced by environment. Yeah. And I know when it's been the full moon, I know this one from the Doors, right? Lunatics are real. We would be working and we're like, it's full moon. And somebody go, I don't know, it'll go, oh yeah, here they come, here come the crazies. So my boys on the spectrum are very raw. And in the week of the full moon, I have to kind of stay on top of them a little bit more. Yeah. But they can't help it because they're in tune with the environment. As adults, we become detuned to it, don't we? Yeah. You know, like every day's the same. Every day's not the same. Every day's not the same in nature. And the plants don't grow in the winter on purpose because that's when they grow in the summer because of the sun. They need that balance. But I think that's what I mean. Like if more people do martial arts, whatever martial arts, my hope is that they become better people and stop to think before they act. Yeah. And maybe they'll influence another generation of people. Yeah. And we can find more good people, you know?
No, I mean, no, thank you very much for the conversation.
No, bro, I tell you what, that's actually fully late. There's something for you, Tom.
We got two more in this.
Oh my god, we're gonna be in this a week.
Yeah. No, we usually have fortune cookies, and then you can pick your thing, but they all smashed in the box, eh? So
you can't pick my future, bro. It's already paid out for me.
Next time you win, we'll get something, maybe even dessert or something.
Yeah. Like on Friday.
You know, no, thank you very much.
Hello.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you much, guys.
Look at this song. It's been staring at me the whole time. Oh, hongi. Yeah. Oh, we'll do it right on the food though. Will the camera catch us? We'll just slide this way. So we got a hongi. So this is us sharing our beautiful life together. Noses. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Yeah.